excited to have Shirley Walker-King here. She's going to talk to you for the next bit about maintaining healthy relationships through COVID, both in your personal and professional life, which is challenging to say the least. But yeah, Shirley, if you want to unmute and then you can join us. But I'm going to mute.
Hey.
Good morning. Shirley has been on the is in Texas, so she's had a very exciting last couple of weeks. I think that she's gone. Yeah, Cordula's like dog. My dogs, trust me. Shirley's got a power back on, water, all the things necessary for existence. What a mess. What a mess. Quite a few of our sponsors are in Texas, so we're so happy that they could make it because it's been a struggle.
It is definitely a welcome release for us, so timing is perfect.
Good. Well, I am going to mute myself, and also so that you can't hear my dogs, and take it away, Shirley. We'll come get you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. As a military spouse, I actually like to say good morning, good afternoon, or whichever one comes first, depending on where you are, because we know as military spouses, being stationed overseas and still trying to blend in with American Zooms and information, sometimes you have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and people are in stateside are looking at you like, why do you look like you're asleep? Because I literally just woke up out of bed to join this one. But like she said, I am here coming to you from Texas, and I am super excited about today's event. MilSpouse Fest is definitely an opportunity for military spouses to connect with each other, to get great resources and information. So I truly hope you guys take advantage of this platform. I am super duper in love with it. I want to get started with, I'm going to do a quick little video here to give you a little bit more of an introduction. So I'm going to have to share the screen. Be patient. Let's go here. Yep, give me 2 seconds. No, that's not what I want. There we go. Okay, so as it gets ready to come up, I just want to kind of briefly just kind of give you a little rundown of what we're going to talk about as far as maintaining healthy relationships during COVID. Could not open the file, so we may have to go to a backup. Sybil, are you going to be able to bring that up for me? Give me a nod, Sybil, if you can hear me. Okay, she's gonna work at getting that up for me. This is why we do test runs. So, okay, as she's doing that, do me a favor and type in the chat where everybody's from. I like to know who the people I'm talking to so I know which dialect I need to put on. Again, I'm a Texas girl. I was born in Texas, raised in California. So no offense to anyone, but my husband likes to call me his California country girl. So get a hold of that one, will ya? But yeah, put in the chat where are you from. Let's see where everybody's tuning in from this morning. And then we will get started because like I said, as military spouses, we are all over the place. I have literally been stationed in San Diego, California, Chicago, Illinois. From Chicago, we went to Corpus Christi, Texas. From Corpus Christi, we went to Naples, Italy. From Naples, Italy, we went to Virginia, Maryland, then Virginia, and now we're in Texas, as she stated. So yes. Okay, it's up, and what we'll do is go ahead and get things started. So yeah, we got it up. Thanks, my producers behind the scenes saying what can she do to help. Sybil has it under control.
we got a lot of people tuning in from all over.
We got a lot of people tuning in from all over. Awesome, awesome. So what I like to do is always say, when it comes to relationships, think about it. When it comes to relationships, remember how easy it was to make friends on the playground during school? How you were able to share your lunch, ask if you could join the kickball game, play Uno, jacks, jump rope, or once you were accepted, you were basically like best friends. You don't have to move yet, still, but you can keep it on that first line. Well, building and maintaining professional and personal relationships as you get to an adult is not as easy as that. We wish it was, but it's not. Staying connected and developing professional relationships take time, work, and strategy. And let's face it, relationships are, excuse me, are an important part of a military spouse's life. So, yeah, thank you. Been talking all morning and warming up and didn't have any problems, but now here we go. Okay, so now, Sybil, we can go to the next slide. And we're going to play the video. It should be right in here.
I don't have a.
You don't have it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That's not.
So yeah, she's saying the video.
Oh, here we go. It's
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So please enjoy this really quick video as an introduction. I think sometimes that's the best way to do it, because self-introductions just sometimes get like, what? Hi, I'm Shirley Walker-Kings, author, life coach, and motivational speaker. I've always been a woman who loves to get impactful work done while still having fun. Here I am, axe throwing, doing archery, and rediscovering my love of bike riding. The lessons life has taught me I've packaged in a few easy reads, even reaching Amazon's bestsellers list. Through my efforts in the community, I've been honored to receive awards such as Military Inspirational Leader of the Year from the Rosie Network, Businesswoman of the Year, Who's Who in Garland Neighborhoods, and even nationally recognized from the NUSA Who's Who in America's Neighborhoods. I've been featured in NBC, Fox, CBS, ABC, and more. The work I'm empowered to do has always been around helping every woman be the best woman she can be. Notice I didn't say best mother, best wife, or sister, because it starts with being the best you first. Speaking of, I am the wife of military veteran Vincent King, almost 30 years in counting, and we have a beautiful daughter, Valencia King. It's truly my pleasure to speak with you today, because living the life you desire is within your reach. And remember, it all starts with you and the relationships you develop. So, what life will you create as we make dreams reality? Thank you. Thank you, Sybil. I appreciate that. And surprisingly, that was my first time seeing that video as well. My super producer created that one just for this slideshow. So thank you, Valencia. I appreciate that. As we go into it, so like we said, hi, I'm Shirley Walker-King. Like I said, I've been a military spouse for 28 years and counting. I've given you the places we've lived. We've lived all over the place, like I said, from California, Illinois, Texas, Maryland, and now officially retired in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. My professional background is in human resource management. My entrepreneur background spans from being an author, life coach, speaker, producer in the entertainment business, as well as in the private government and corporate sector. Relationships matter. So if you can go to slide 3, there you go. Relationships matter. No matter who you are, what you do, where you live, your bank account balance, relationships matter. Even more so during tough times as we are all living through this pandemic. And I know we're all tired of hearing this, but together, because we are all living through this together. Why are relationships important? Because business and potential clients and customers, you can stay there, are likely developing or likely delaying projects, pay increases, promotions as they look for ways to cut costs. They may be scaling back on expenditures and using relationships to negotiate better deals. And when I say using relationships to negotiate better deals, you have to think of things from a business mindset. In business, so if they're trying to produce wide span products and services, and yet people are not coming into their storefront, they're literally having to figure out how and where they're going to make cutbacks. So if you have a relationship with a business or a professional or a person, that's going to be a benefit to you, because they're going to call you and say, look, Sybil, we know that you produce mass production of trees. And one of the things that we are looking at is we have to scale back on things. Do you think we can buy more in bulk? or reduce the cost or work half on half on the shipping, but it's all in negotiation. And the first person I'm going to negotiate with is a person that I have a good relationship with. So we can go to the next slide. So again, let's face it, COVID-19 has changed everything. It's changed the way we live, the way we socialize, the way we do business, and who and how we trust. Navigating the norm has put a strain on the way we can stay connected. We are all struggling to deal with the intertwined changes and challenges of COVID, social injustice, and economic disparities. I don't know about you, but I truly miss the face-to-face interactions with my family and friends, my coworkers, and as the millennials say, sometimes even my frenemies. When you've been locked up for this long, you're willing to take interaction from anyone. So you're just like, okay, yeah, I know we may have not been on the best terms, but she could make a mean margarita. So again, that's a relationship, and that's where you know that category would be. Can I get a couple of amens? Can I get a couple of relationships matter in the chat? Raise those hands and raise the roof, because we know, again, we have to sometimes compartmentalize relationships, and that's perfectly okay. So we can go to the next slide. As an entrepreneur, independent contractor, consultant, coach, business owner, and an employee who's wanting to grow in your professional field, relationships matter because they can, one, help you build your brand and reputation. A lot of people don't think about relationships as helping you build your brand and your reputation, but you are your brand and you are your reputation, and your relationships reflect that. It can also help you build a pipeline for referrals. It can give you a greater sense of purpose and give you a competitive edge and create loyalty. Going back to, again, that negotiating with business relationships. If you have a positive relationship with them, you're probably gonna be the first one that they want to contact to negotiate prices or services during hard times. As Zig Ziglar once said, if they like you, they will listen to you. If they trust you, they will do business with you. And as business owners and a military spouse, building and maintaining healthy relationships is not an option. And I know I can get a bunch of, put number one in there as a military spouse, if you know about building relationships and knowing that that takes you a long way, because one of the first things I would normally do when we got to a new duty station, find the gym. I'll be honest, I would find the gym because I'm an ex-professional basketball player and I love playing basketball and working out. So that would be one of the first things I would do. Then the second thing I would do is also find a family service center, and it's called a different department depending on whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marine, but for the Navy bases, it's called the Family Service Center. And I would go there and I would actually do volunteer work so I could find out what's going on in that community, because each duty station is a different community, a different lifestyle, and a different culture. And by connecting with those type of organizations and doing volunteer work, it helped me build my reputation. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, most of my positions when I would transfer came from a recommendation or a referral because I took the time to build those relationships in the community. We should also be building a network of relationship with customers, associates, and other military spouses. Again, with each duty station, each MOS, and I won't do a lot of military terms, because I know we have some civilians on here, but military occupational specialty is your MOS. For me, again, in my profession, connections have come to serve me in various ways, one of which I'll share a story with you. Again, one of our last duty stations from being here in Dallas, Texas, was in the Virginia area. My husband was attached to the Anacostia Naval Base, so we were actually stationed there doing 9/11. And so those resources and connections helped me once we moved here to Texas. As we moved here to Texas, I was working full-time and going to school full-time. And I had a associate, another military spouse. Actually, she was double. She was a military spouse and former active duty. She actually received a government contract, and she would always say, when I get out, she knew exactly what she wanted to do when she got out of the military. And she said, when I get out, I'm going to call you because you've always been on top of your HR policies and procedures. You've always helped us when we needed, when we had questions. and you've always been a great advisor. So she's like, I love your style. So when I get out and I get a contract, I want to call you because I want you to run my HR department. And of course, you know, you hear that twice, you hear that 3 times. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, I'm looking forward to it. Wish you the best. So a year and a half after actually being stationed here in Texas, I got the call, and she said that she got a contract. And she said, not only do I have a contract, but I need to have 10 employees hired within the next 30 days. And these were high security profile positions. I'm in Texas. She was in Virginia. And so I was like, okay, let me call my resources that I still had in Virginia and see what I can do. So I was able to stay connected to my HR resources in Virginia. And I not only got her the 10 employees within the 30 days, I also did her handbook and set up payroll and all her policies and procedures. So imagine that relationship building for me, how that helped me go into my business. It all started. That's actually how I started my HR business, because of that call and me being able to get her situated in her business, get her the employees, get her the contract, get her all of her policies set up. She then referred me to another contractor. And at this point, I was working full time, going to school full time, and running her HR stuff part time. And I had to make a decision once we got this referral for the second one. I took a step back from corporate and said, I'm going to do my own thing. So I actually started my HR consulting business based off of a referral, a resource, and a connection. So again, that's why I say it's really important for military spouses and people to really embrace maintaining healthy relationships. Even during my breaks, I found myself giving out free information, and those resources, again, came back to help me big time. So, okay, now that I give you that story, the first part I want to cover is, again, how you leverage and maintain your current networks and relationships, which is the story I just gave you about myself. So we can go to the next slide. So the first thing I want to talk about with maintaining healthy relationships, even during COVID, is the first thing you have to do, first thing first, let go of all of your old expectations. Acknowledge things are different. There's no way of getting around it. Things are different than what it was like in 2019. We can't even say 2020 anymore, just 2019. Accept the new way. And by accepting it doesn't mean that you like it or embrace it. You just have to accept that we have to make some adjustments and changes. Stay in the moment and be grateful for what you have and the opportunities you have, because we have to remember there are a lot of people who were struggling during these times, who don't have jobs, who don't have homes, and don't have opportunities. So one of the ways that I can stay refocused and stay in the moment and not get frustrated with everything that's going on is that I'm very grateful for what I do have. I know the process of letting go of old expectations requires you to go really deep into your soul. Like we say in HR, it requires you to go into your human training manual and just delete those old expectations, delete those old habits, and start fresh. Nothing is the same, so don't hold on to the old way of doing business and building relationships. I don't want to say it's like anything goes, but at this point, it's almost like anything positive goes, because people really don't know what to expect. And by you opening the door in a non-conventional way, they may embrace that and be like, I never thought about that. And now you've helped someone else break the barrier of starting a new relationship. Because you have to remember, a large part of corporations, private, government sector, are now working remotely from home. So employers, managers, co-workers have gotten comfortable and creative with ways to connect while social distancing, which is important when learning to let go of your old way. Accepting things as they are is a beautiful starting point that opens up possibilities you may have to consider. You become authentic and real and are no longer protected by the fantasy island called the office space or office building. You see things more clearly and are not blinded by the boardroom atmosphere. Because I say sometimes when you're in a building, as a consultant, I can say this, when you work in a structured area, you're kind of blinded by one thing. You know that all you want to do is just get to that next level, that you don't look at the wider lens and the opportunities to do something different. So you feel, when you work from home and work remotely, you kind of feel empowered. There's something about going through a pandemic that makes you empathetic towards others, yet at the same time empowered by your own choices, because we are literally making our own choices day by day going through this pandemic because things are changing. Things are improving, of course, but things are still changing. You have to navigate things differently, and you have to share that with your family and friends. For home jobs and family, I'm grateful I was only out of power for 18 hours last week, as Julie mentioned, or was it Emily? Sorry, ladies. But yes, living here in Dallas-Fort Worth, we were deep into the winter storm, and I'm just grateful that my house only lost power for 18 hours. My sister and my mother not only lost power, but they also lost water for over 5 days. Everything is back on. My mother literally just got water back in her development yesterday. So she was without water for over 8 days. So when I say we can find a way to be grateful and show gratitude, we can. But I think that storm also helped a lot of us realize the importance of staying connected to those who matter and how to stay connected. Because if you don't have power, you're figuring out things really quick, phone numbers, you're figuring out where the backup batteries, where's the generators. You're going to learn how to use your resources, whether you wanted to or not. So we did. So again, letting go of old expectations. So we can go to the next slide. So step 2 is connect and reconnect. Connect and reconnect with your past business and professional relationships. Use technology to your advantage. One of the ways I like to say is send an email, an introductory email, update your profile, do a goodwill check-in, and see how people are doing. Using technology to your advantage is a good thing. Taking the initiative and following up with previous coworkers, supervisors, mentors, or even professionals that you had good connections with. I say send them an email. Make it personal and refresh their memory of where you guys met, or reintroduce yourself. Let them know where you met, your current, what you're currently working on, whether it's career advancement, if you're currently studying something. Give them an update. That's a great way to do a reconnection email. If you don't have their current email, you can try connecting with them on social media. Then proceed to ask them if they have any questions or anything that you can do for them. That's always a good icebreaker. Is there anything that I can do for you during these difficult times? I know we're all just trying to figure this out, but opening up that dialogue brings a smile to people's face, because it's really good when people can call and say, I want to give more than I want. So think about it, and don't think that you might be feeling like you're bothering them, because this is, again, a strategy that may help with job leads. This may lead you to learn new skills, develop your knowledge about a particular market, or get a referral, or be referred to a professional or someone in your field or industry that you may have been interested in learning about. Even if they don't respond, at least you tried, and you have nothing to lose because you tried to make that reconnection. And I think, again, a lot of times people will say, you know what, I've been thinking about you and I've been wanting to email you to see how you're doing. So sometimes you opening up that platform is just what they need. Other ways to reconnect are to celebrate awards and recognitions and birthdays. That's the one thing I do love about social media, is that it gives you an opportunity to stay connected with people that you just on the day-to-day basis, you forget about their birthday, but Facebook lets you know. So you're like, got it. Then you can go ahead and send them that happy birthday. One of the things I like to do when I do happy birthdays to people is I actually like to find a picture that we were in together, so that I could just say happy birthday to my friend. So that makes it a little more personable. And then they're like, oh yeah, I remember we did run into each other in Oklahoma. I'm in Texas, she's from California, and we ran into each other in Oklahoma. Got it. We took a picture, so every time it's her birthday or we chat, I would send her that picture, like, remember this? We were just in a random mall and ran into each other in a different state. So try doing that. Update your profile. This one is very important for professional relationships. Update your profile with current content, fresh photos, graphics, and memes. And when I say that, because on example, LinkedIn is a professional platform, and sometimes we forget to go and update our certifications. We forget to go and update, some of the educational things that we may have been doing, birthdays we've had, promotions we've had, and that opens up the doors for reconnections as well. And if you're going to do a wellness check, please do a wellness check and be sincere about it. People love goodwill wellness checks. I think it's a brilliant idea. to do a wellness check, because you can really just call somebody and say, look, we're living through a pandemic. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. It's as simple as that. Is your icebreaker. There's been no other time when we all have a common denominator icebreaker. So, you don't have to be brilliant and think of games that you want to do to reach out to someone. Just be thoughtful and show them that you care. If there's one thing this crisis is teaching us, is that our entire lives do not necessarily have to be transactional. So it does not have to be a give or take. It can simply be, I just wanted to say hello. Can I get a hello in the chat? Can we do some hellos? And you can long that out if you want. So, and then when you do reconnect, ask them how they would like to stay connected. Ask them, is it easier for them to connect with you via Zoom, via text, TikTok? Sybil, I'm not on TikTok as much, but I need to get there because sometimes I really have some stuff that I need to express. So you may have to work with me on this TikTok game. I even love sending personal postcards and letters. For Veterans Day 2020, I sent out 20 happy Veterans Day cards. And when I say our military family and friends were like, wow, Shirley, I never thought about that. And they're veterans. And I'm like, right now, we just need something. We need something to make us smile. So by me sending out those cards, there were veteran spouses and active duty personnel who said, I've never thought about sending another veteran a card to say thank you for your service. So that was an idea that a couple of my friends said they were going to pick up and start doing. So I'm super excited about that. So again, send out a personal postcard, send out a letter. We call it snail mail. Keep the post office in business. So we can go to the next slide. So the next tip is tip number 3, which is network, network, and network. I should have had that in there where they have those little pop-ups. I think that's like the TikToks. I'm gonna get there, Sybil. But networking, determine your outcome first and your goal before you start networking, because you don't want to just jump into platforms and you don't know what you're there for. Start with the people you like, know, and trust. Again, that comes up, like, know, and trust. Search for target industries and groups that are likely to house the people you are trying to connect with. Host a virtual happy hour, lunch and learn, or share a hobby or topic. Be a guest on a podcast or host your own podcast. If you have the bandwidth to host your own podcast, it is super exciting. I do one call in the community with Miss SWK on a local radio station here. I do it once a week, or really probably once every 2 weeks, but I do get it done. And it's just me having a conversation about things that are going on in our community. Thank you, Valencia. So I appreciate that. And a lot of people are always super excited, like, oh my God, I have a new movie coming out. I have a new play coming out. I have a new book coming out. This is perfect timing. So they're super excited to be on the show just as much as I'm super excited that they're filling the slot for me. When networking, involve family members in networking events, hosting like virtual cookie decorating classes for clients and their kids. Be a regular, engaging professional on these platforms. Become useful and learn to promote yourself on these platforms as well. That's the one thing that I love about these social media platforms. They have actually taught us how to self-promote, because a lot of us are shy about talking about ourselves. But when you're in these platforms, you kind of just get self-promoted, especially if you're keeping your things updated. That's very important, to keep your things updated. I just put out one because I got certified in Scrum in 2020, but I forgot to update it on my Facebook page. And I think I did it like 2 weeks ago. And a friend girl of mine, she's like, oh my God, I'm a member of Scrum. I didn't know that you just finished out. And I said, I actually did it last year in 2020, but I forgot to update it. So that broke out a conversation, and we literally had not talked in about 8 months. So she was probably waiting for an opportunity to reach back out to me, and we just didn't have any way to break the ice. And that, by me updating my profile, gave her the opportunity to give me a call, and we had another item in common. Again, so if you have the time and the content to do a podcast, that would be great. People love, like I said, people love talking about themselves. People also love it when they know, like, and trust. When people they know, like, and trust give them a referral on a podcast. That's why I listen to podcasts, because I'm trying to find out who are the best people in certain areas, and that's what these podcast guests do. So if I like them on that podcast, I'm more likely to reach out to them. And that's research I didn't have to do because I trust the person who does the podcast. So I'm going to trust or be able to gain and learn to trust the person that they had on as a guest. Plus, again, referrals establish good credibility. That's what a lot of friends and associates love about me is they say, you know, we can call you because you're like a central connection. I tell people I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little. So, and again, being a military spouse has just always given me the opportunity to have connections and resources. So I've taken full advantage of that. But again, and when you join these platforms, I will tell you, again, it takes time to do the podcast, but you want to go for progress, not perfection. Because if you're aiming for perfection, you're probably never going to get started. Remember, life happens and no one is perfect. Expect the Zoom unexpected. Quick story is I did a Zoom on a professional platform, and one of the gentlemen didn't have on a shirt. No shirt. When I say it was a professional government platform, that's all I'll say. And I just went to the chat and, you know, chatted to the host and the administrators and say, I don't know about you, but I think we should probably ask the guy to put on a shirt or turn his camera off because I think that's very unprofessional. And she said, oh my God, you're about the 20th person to do this and he hasn't responded yet. And I said, well, if you're the administrator, you can remember as the administrator of a podcast or a Zoom, you have the right to remove someone or add someone if things are not going correctly. So remember, you still have that power. I know people get intimidated with Zoom, but again, if you are the administrator, you have the right to add someone, ask someone to put on a shirt would be nice. I'll get off my soapbox. So we can go to slide number 9, the next slide. So tip number 4, and I love this one. This is something my mother always tell me. She says, make sure you share your KSRs, your knowledge, skills, and resources. I know in the military, we're used to hearing KSAs, but she's always say, honey, the things that you have that people can never take away from you is your knowledge, your skills, and your resources. So those are 3 things that I hold pride to. So recognize that you have value and your objective is to find those who want your help and appreciate your value. For most of us, it's about helping others. So be confident in what you bring to the table and knowing your knowledge, your skills, and your resources can help others. Sharing your resources is the best relationship builder and it's a spirit lifter. Sharing your resources will help you grow. It will keep you motivated. It will get you recognized and give you a sense of purpose. Types of resources, because I don't like to just tell people what to do. I kind of want to give you some examples too. Types of resources that we don't think about sharing with each other are funding connections, job opportunities. I'll go back to funding connections. If you know of a government assistance program that's out there to help people who just made it through this winter storm, that's a good resource to share. Because some people, again, are still trying to figure out how they're going to get their floors redone in their home because their water pipes busted. So if you have connections and you know and that they can use them, share those resources. Thank you. Job opportunities. Help them get connected to companies that are hiring. Sometimes we don't realize some of the resources we have. As a person who works in human resources, I do get quite a few people asking, do you know somebody who knows, software in this area or who has a level 2 security clearance? And those are resources that I like to share, excuse me, with people. So I always keep that resource and opportunity open, and people send me their resumes as well. Again, as a military spouse, we have a lot of connections and people are calling like, look, my wife is moving, we're moving to this location and she works, in childcare and she's going to be looking for a job. If there's anything that you can do to help her, let us know. So again, be authentic about what you can and can't do because people appreciate that. And the more you share your resources, the more you are valuable to other people. And you can be personal, but again, you don't have to share anything that you wouldn't want on the Donahue show or on Oprah show or Jerry Springer. So keep that in mind. And you can also ask people for advice too, what areas that you may need help in. but keep it a mutual respect, be empathetic, and celebrate others. So it's very important. Sybil, we can go to slide number, the next slide. Tip number 5, and this one is very, very important. Tip number 5, set boundaries. Setting boundaries is a good thing. Maintain a routine and keep a schedule. Take a break, eat lunch, go for walks, listen to music, or just watch the birds or your neighborhood cat, because we have a neighborhood cat now that likes to sit in my backyard on my patio table. So, surprisingly, I went and got him snacks. I'm like, okay, well, since you're going to be here, we're just going to have this conversation. So sometimes the cat knows more about my day than my husband. That's okay. One of the things I like to also tell people when you're setting boundaries, think about your energy level. Are you a morning person, evening person, afternoon person? This one's a very good one. Schedule your meetings according to your energy level. If you're not a morning person, you may not want to schedule a meeting with my sister, who is just a bubble of fresh air at 6:30 in the morning, every morning without coffee. So I see you, Sybil. Sybil's like, no, ma'am. So if you're not a morning person, you may want to schedule that morning person in mid-afternoon to help you get over all their happiness and get it, bring it into your vibes and your system. For the end of the day, when I say set routines, follow your routine and schedules, at the end of the day, turn your phone off. Put it on silent, vibrate. These are smartphones, you can schedule that. With each passing day, we're overwhelmed with media and everything that's going on. So sometimes when you walk away from your workstation, you really need to walk away. We are so connected with loved ones and everybody and everything that's going on. So I just always tell people, you get to determine your boundaries and how to set those boundaries. So you may have to set some for yourself, which is, again, putting your workstation in an area that can be closed off. If you can't put it in a separate area, I have literally had my sister put a sheet over your computer when you're done, so that every time you walk by, you're not thinking about office stuff. If you have a divider that you can put up that divider. If you can close the door, close the door. What I do personally, when I leave my office, I have a salt lamp, which is actually right here to my right. So if you see me orange glowing, that's from a salt lamp. But when I go in the office the first thing in the morning, I turn the salt lamp on. And when I leave, the last thing I do is I turn that salt lamp off, because I know once that's off, I'm not in that office. That I know that is it for me. My day is done, and I don't need anything else pulling my energy, because if the salt light's not on and it's helping balance the energy, I know I shouldn't be in there. One of the things that, again, I love to work out. So what I do is I found an app. It's the Johnson & Johnson 7-minute workout plan. Works out perfect for me. It gives me my time to do my 7-minute workout, my meditation, and go talk to the cat. Spend my time in nature. But we all need to develop a routine that's going to help you keep those boundaries. And if you're getting overwhelmed with people who are trying to push their energy on you or push their media reporting status on you, I have a nice little quote I like to tell them, and you're more than welcome to share this one. It's, I appreciate that you have prioritized being informed but I am limiting my access to media coverage at the moment. And as a person who works in media, sometimes they're looking at me like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, I've already taken in all I can take. So I just don't need the extra information right now. So type in the chat too, what are some things that you can do to set your boundaries? I'd love to see some of your ideas and suggestions, because what you have as setting a boundary may be an opportunity for someone else who didn't think about setting that type of a boundary. So type in the chat, what type of boundaries do you need to set for yourself? And so the next slide. Finally, because I told you I could have you 5 steps, but I'm giving you a bonus, and this bonus, you can go to the next one too. Sybil, you can go to the next one. So the bonus one is to keep a positive attitude. Practice self-care, control your reactions, talk to someone you trust, and look for the silver lining. And when I say during these times of uncertainty, people need to communicate more than ever. Practicing self-care is very important. Make time for self-care is very, very crucial. And you can determine what that looks like. Self-care doesn't have to mean a bubble bath or a face mask. It can purely mean counting to 10. 1, 2, and sometimes you may have to count silently so they don't see that you're counting because of them. And take a deep breath, just smile. Take a deep breath in and count to 10. Eat regular meals, get plenty of sleep, exercise, and talk. Again, talk to someone you trust. There is plenty of therapists and people available out there. And that's one thing I do like about where we're at now, is because there are people who I would have never had on my list of connecting with because of the demographics. But now that we're all virtual, I've actually been able to connect with other people, therapists, counselors that I've wanted to work with in the past. And now I have that opportunity. So remember that you can set your boundaries. You control your reactions. I like to call it, you control your AARP, and that's your attitude, your actions, your reactions, and your purpose. So attitude, action, response, and purpose. And that's your AARP is what you can control. Sybil, we can go to the next one. And so, again, we're all in this together. I know we're all tired of hearing that, but it is actual fact. We're simply living through this. This is only a temporary norm. This is not forever. This too shall pass. The tough part about uncertainties is, of course, lacking a knowledge of an end date. But we know this pandemic is going to end at some point, and at some point soon, we hope. And we pray, and we know that it will. So I truly hope that you can use these tips to connect and reconnect your relationships and help shift your focus in a positive direction. The worksheet that we have for this, it is a maintaining worksheet. Link is in the chat. So if you're in the chat, you should be able to pull up that worksheet just to kind of help you with some of the things that we were talking about here. Again, I gave you the 5 tips on how to maintain and balance healthy relationships. I hope that everyone has enjoyed the slide. We can go to the next slide, Sybil. Yeah, that's my information. I thought I had to recap. So just keep in mind that, again, you control your boundaries. You can set your expectations. We need to all practice relationships, reconnecting with relationships that you can. I look forward to networking with all of you guys. I hope that we can continue to network. I believe you can schedule appointments with me on the platform. So if there's anyone out there who would like to do a one-on-one, just connect with me and we can try and share some resources and see where we're all at.
Okay.
And so again, the first tip was first thing first, let go of all old expectations. We can't do it anymore. Yeah, I'm wrapping. 2, connect and reconnect. 3, network. And the 4th tip was, where did I get that one? Okay, set your boundaries and stay connected. I will be in the chat if you're taking any actions today. I know I'm like, what? Okay.
No, that was great. I mean, I think that we all need reminders. Take that time, and also to connect with people that, you know, drift out in and out of our lives as military spouses. That tends to happen. So sometimes you have to take a deep breath and reach out to people that you haven't for a while, because everybody's looking for that connection. So